The moment he walked onto that stage, nobody laughed. Nobody whispered. The entire Britain's Got Talent audience went completely, eerily silent. He was small in frame. He wore a white rhinestone jumpsuit that shimmered under the stage lights. His black hair was slicked back perfectly. His shoes clicked against the floor as he walked to the center microphone, and even that sound felt like something out of a dream. His name was Rico Manalo. He had flown 14 hours from the Philippines to stand in front of Simon Cowell. 14 hours. For this moment. For one chance. Simon leaned back in his chair the way he always does when he's not impressed yet. Arms folded. Eyes scanning. That cold, calculating stare that has ended careers before they even began. "What's your name?" Simon asked. "Rico," the man said. His voice was calm. Steady. Like someone who had already rehearsed this moment 10,000 times in a bathroom mirror. "And where are you from, Rico?" "Manila, Philippines." A few audience members clapped politely. Rico smiled. But his eyes were somewhere else. Somewhere far away. Like he was already hearing the music in his head. "What are you going to do for us today?" Amanda Holden asked, leaning forward slightly. "I'm going to sing," Rico said simply. "I've been singing since I was 6 years old. My father used to play Elvis records every Sunday morning. He passed away 3 years ago. He never got to see me on a stage like this. So today, I'm not singing for me. I'm singing for him." The audience went quiet again. Simon uncrossed his arms. That was the first sign. The music started. A slow, dramatic build. The kind of intro that tells you something extraordinary is about to happen. And then Rico Manalo opened his mouth. The sound that came out was impossible. It was velvet wrapped in thunder. It was Elvis Presley reborn in the body of a Filipino man standing 60 feet from the most critical judge in the history of televised talent competitions. It was Can't Help Falling in Love performed with such aching beauty that 3 people in the front row began to cry before the first chorus even arrived. Rico didn't perform the song. He lived inside it. His voice bent and swelled and broke at exactly the right moments. It trembled when it needed to. It soared when the room needed it to soar. By the time he reached the bridge, there were people on their feet. Not all of them. But enough. The kind of standing ovation that begins organically, row by row, like a wave that nobody commanded. Simon Cowell had not moved. He was sitting completely still. His arms were at his sides now. His face had changed in a way that the cameras captured but words can barely describe. The smirk was gone. The skepticism was gone. What was left was something raw and quiet and real. Alicia Dixon had her hand pressed to her mouth. Amanda was crying. Openly. Without apology. David Walliams was staring at Rico like he was watching something supernatural. And Simon just sat there. Still. Silent. Processing something that clearly hadn't happened to him in a very long time. When the last note fell, Rico closed his eyes. He kept them closed for a full 3 seconds. Like he was whispering something to his father. Like this moment belonged to someone who wasn't in the room. Then the arena exploded. Not applause. An eruption. 1,000 people on their feet in an instant. A wave of sound that shook the building and blurred the cameras and made the floor of Britain's Got Talent vibrate with something bigger than entertainment. Simon raised his hand slowly. The crowd hushed instantly. He looked at Rico for a long moment before he spoke. "I don't say this often," Simon began. His voice was different. Lower. Stripped of its usual armor. "I don't say this to almost anyone. But what you just did, that was not an impression. That was not a tribute act. That was something completely your own. And it was, honestly, one of the most beautiful things I've heard on this stage." Pause. Your father would be very, very proud. Rico Manalo did not cry. His face broke into something far more devastating than tears. It was the face of a man who had carried something heavy for 3 years and had just, finally, been allowed to put it down. Simon pressed his buzzer. The golden one. Golden confetti rained down like a storm of sunlight. Rico stood in the center of it, arms raised, face lifted to the lights above him, his rhinestone jumpsuit catching every single piece of falling gold. 14 hours from Manila. 3 years of grief. One song. And a moment that Britain's Got Talent, and everyone watching around the world, will never forget. Some people sing to entertain. Rico Manalo sang to remember. And in doing so, he made every single person in that building remember something too. A parent. A lost voice. A Sunday morning. A record playing in a kitchen somewhere far away. That is what the greatest performances do. They don't just move you.